So, welcome to my home. You can see my sweet sports banners behind me. Mets, Rangers. So, anyway, let me get to the point. I thought this was actually a really cool assignment. The clips that you picked for us to watch were really, it was interesting. It was a really good selection of clips to go back and forth to see the poorer side and the richer side. Of course, every time I watch, anytime I see, or now I'm watching these clips of Bill Cosby in it, all I can immediately think of is how much of a creep he is. So that was a little distracting. But no, it's interesting. Like, I Do the Right Thing. I've never actually seen it. I do like Spike Lee movies a lot. But as far as the economic divide goes, yeah, you see. I hate to say struggles of the rich African American families. It's not a struggle. You know, they're well off. The Huxtables. I understand it's a sitcom, as you can see in that clip. They even had their their sentimental sitcom moment at the end, even after the funny scene about the fight, and then Cosby making jokes, and it's funny. But then in true sitcom fashion, she hugs. They hug at the end, like thank you for everything. That always happens in the sitcoms. But it's not. So like I said, it's not a struggle that rich African American families face. But you could see there's absolutely resentment from lower class within their own race against these well off black families that I guess don't have to deal with the struggle, that the legitimate struggle that the not as well off African American families had to face, as you can see from the Do the Right Thing clips in the pizza place where he just asked about a different time too. This was not like it is now, but why isn't there a black guy on the wall of fame? And it led to him being kicked out of the store, threatened with a baseball bat. It definitely has not gone away. That's for sure. That all that stuff. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as bad as it was. The mainstream media would have you think that, and that's why I despise a lot of what they do. They're opportunistic and they misreport, and it can lead to a lot of. We've seen over the last couple of years what a detriment they can actually be to society as a whole. We've seen riots all over the place now. Just the misinformation that they report immediately, like hands up, don't shoot, which turned out to just be not true, and that led to a whole bunch of problems. But that's off the topic a little bit. But what I'm saying, the economic divide within the African American race has led to resentment. I think a lot of there's the term, but it's definitely been brought up before. Like even Chris Rock, who's possibly the most famous, probably outside of Richard Pryor. Chris Rock could be the most popular African American comedian of all time. He does bits about this constantly. About true wealth in the black community, and it's a point of discussion in that race. Like, I listen to a ton of radio, and I forget his name. I should have probably looked it up because it would have sounded smarter. But there's a doctor, a black doctor that always goes on the Opie and Jim Norton show that I listen to, and he says he gets a lot of hate because he acts too white and he's rich, and that's what the poor black citizens are. It's not a majority. Trust me, I don't believe it to be a majority. I don't believe anything that's reported or what we see on the news or hear about is ever the majority of people. I think the overwhelming majority of people just live their lives not even really thinking much about this kind of stuff. It's a cycle. It's the same thing we have going on now with Muslims. Everyone's up in arms and scared about Muslims, but it is the overwhelming minority that ever cause problems or commit these horrible acts. Again, it goes back to the mainstream media. But anyway, I'm going on rants here. But my main point is that the economic divide, while the civil rights movement and the Martin Luther King speech you saw, kind of can unite everybody in a common ground, I think there's certainly a resentment towards the better off African Americans from the